Here in YouTube land, and tonight I'm going to do something that I haven't done in a while. I'm going to review a wrestling program. When I met my better half, before we became like, before we started dating, that we used to like hang out, we used to watch wrestling and stuff like that. She was not a wrestling fan. I actually introduced her to it. She had not seen it before. She knew who Hulk Hogan was and stuff like that, but she hadn't seen much of the other wrestling. So I watched a lot of, I watched not much WWE at the time. It was pretty crappy. I used to watch Impact. It had a lot of really good stuff on it, and after a while, I kind of got out of it. School, work, just and the show went down, in my opinion, for a bit. And at the end, it was kind of like wasn't so sure. Now, Impact went off Spike TV, which was its home for a long, long time. Now, this week, actually, last night, they had a live show on Destination America. Destination America is a much smaller kind of channel than Spike is, but they seem to be more committed to Impact. I'll listen to a Dixie Carter podcast that was done by good old JR, Jim Ross himself. And she really gave a good feel of like why she went with Destination America, where it's going right now. Here in Canada, we do not get Destination America, so we're still working on getting stuff that we really, really want on here. So we're hoping that we get that channel. We'll get the if not Destination America, then we'll get down another channel. So hopefully that's going to happen. But I did manage to catch the show. I watched it today, and what did I think? Well, let's go through it kind of like segment by segment, match by match type of thing, and then I'm going to give you my overall view and score of it at the end. This is going to be actually a pretty quick one. So the opening starts out. We got a brand new opening. We got they show like a limousine come up, and we don't know who's in it right away. You kind of get that it's probably Kurt, and we know that there's going to be some big stuff happening. Then they show pretty much the kind of the bad guys or the gray guy, in between type of guys, and we got their the mouthpiece talking there. We got MVP talking. On the other side, we have Bobby Roode talking, and pretty much they're just they're hyping the big show. This is their night. This is the time to like basically reprove themselves, and they all come together outside of the arena, which is I think it's the Manhattan Center, I think, and and a huge brawl takes place. Starts out outside the arena, goes inside. We get this like opening in between with this kind of like I'm not sure what the song was. It was really cool. I was really, really pumped, and it had a really different opening. It wasn't like showing like a bunch of like just wrestling snippets, which almost got me worried at first. I almost showed them off as like kind of like backstage type character-y type stuff, them doing their stuff, getting ready. But it got a good feel of what their characters were. But you didn't really see a lot of like wrestling and in the opening, so I was kind of nervous at first. I knew that she mentioned a kind of more reality base to it type of thing, and it got me thinking, well, are they gonna like go with it? So we get in there. There's a huge brawl, goes all over the arena. Everybody's involved. We're getting to see all the wrestlers that are in, because we're not sure who's going to be in TNA at this point. I mean, if you're following along to Dirt Sheets and stuff, you probably pretty much have a scorecard of who's going to be in TNA, but we don't know at this point who's going to be in Impact Wrestling. So we do get to see like a lot of people. Low-key's there. We get to see just like a bunch of people. Kurt Angle finally comes out to break it up. He gets into the ring. He says every title is going to be basically challenged, in a match tonight. So we know right away we're going to get every title on the line tonight. And we start off with MVP coming into the ring and pretty much like calling down Kurt Angle and saying, you're director of authority now. You're weak. Back in '96, you were an Olympic champion. One with a broken neck type of thing. But now you're nothing. You're just a shadow of your former self. And Kurt said that, I was a director of authority, and said that's what, that's the past. I'm not that anymore. This is actually my last action as director of authority. And it's to book this final match right here. And this is me against you in a street fight match. And that's going to start now. And he pretty much belts MVP, which is great because it's really nice to see MVP get hit in the face. He just is so good with that heel thing. The match comes on, and it's a pretty good match. I mean, overall, I got to say, it's a decent match. MVP, Kurt Angle, there's a lot of back and forth there. It's a wrestling match. It's not like a showy match or a flippy match or anything like that. It is a wrestling match, and at the end, Kurt Angle wins it with the Olympic Slam, the Angle Slam. So we get that one, and it's a good start for the show. we've seen all the wrestlers. We've got Kurt Angle back in as a wrestler because he's a wrestler now. So is there a director of authority? I'm not sure, but we don't know who it is yet, and it's not being actually addressed. The New York crowd is incredible. They are really lively. They're shouting out stuff, some stuff that has to be bleeped, but it doesn't matter. It's a great crowd to have for an opening show. I mean, like, this crowd was really into the stuff. They will let you know when they didn't like something, and they will let you know when they really like something. And that's the best type of crowd that you need to have. Kind of like a Philly crowd. You get a really good wrestling crowd there. There's a really different look to the camera style now, and it's Lucha Underground, if you watch Lucha Underground, has like kind of a unique style. They film their segments, actually, their backstage segments, stuff like that. Impact Wrestling has a really cool new look to it. It's very fresh. It's very, it's almost like, remember when Impact Reaction? Maybe no. When Impact did a show called Reaction, and it was kind of like a behind the scenes thing. It was done, the camera work was kind of done kind of differently. Well, this has kind of a unique, different camera style to it. I really like it. It moves very fast. It's very kind of frenetic, but nothing seems like out of place. Next up, we get the basically we get some backstage. We get a backstage segment. It doesn't last very long. Pretty much the backstage segments here are pretty cut and dry. Going into it, we were introduced to Taz and Josh Matthews. Josh Matthews is taking over from Mike Tenay. Mike Tenay is his own Impact show now. He's on a show called basically Impact Unlocked, which premieres next week. So they don't only have this 2-hour show, they also have another show as well. And there's going to be a lot more stuff coming out of there. And it's going to be kind of an interactive show. So I'm really looking forward to seeing that. I wonder if that's going to be more reaction style. Because I was a real big fan of reaction. I was really disappointed when that show got canceled. So we see Mike Tenay do an interview basically with James Storm. James Storm is pretty much hyping his group, what are they called again? The Revolution, right? The Revolution. So basically that's Abyss and him, and you got Hamada and the other guy. And so we're going to the first match. It's going to be the Revolution versus the Wolves. And I'd seen Bill the Wolves before, but I got to say, again, I was out of the wrestling scene for a while, so I hadn't seen as much of the Wolves as I wanted to. These guys are incredible. I mean, they give you a really good feel, almost like a Motor City Machine Guns feel to them. And Edwards, they're solid. And the match, amazing. It is an incredible match. Goes back and forth. We got the Hardys on basically watching from ringside. We got the other group, Hamada and the guy watching. I think it's Hamada. I'm not sure what those wrestlers' names are. Going on the other side, and they're just watching. But when the group near the end comes in, and I guess we're going to call them the bad guy group, the other part of Revolution comes in and starts to cheat. The Hardys come in and take him out, but unfortunately, Matt gets knocked into which one was it? Gets knocked into one of the Wolves, and he gets super kicked, and bam, Revolution keep their titles. Great match. That little bit of interference sets up a match for next week, which is going to be the Wolves versus the Hardys, and that's going to be an incredible match. Those are two fantastic tag teams, so you can be sure that one's going to be kind of off the hook. I cannot wait to see that one. We follow that up with a promo by EC3, and I cannot. If you've not seen EC3, this guy is amazing. He is incredible on the mic. He just got great heel heat. Think of Flair back in Flair's heyday. He has that type of heat, except better. I mean, he really knows how to work the crowd. Not only can he hit a promo, a lot of people can come in there and do like a promo, but this guy really plays off the crowd. He uses the crowd's energy with them and against them. He is so good at it. We get Tyrus coming in as well, and Tyrus used to be in the WWE as Brodus Clay, I think was his name back in then. But he comes out. He talks about Rockstar Spud, who's an English wrestler that's over in Impact Wrestling, and they've got a feud going on. I don't know much about this feud because I haven't seen the last few episodes of the show when it was on Spike. So this is kind of new to me, and it's just a really well done segment all around. The promo goes on a little bit, but you know what? It's never boring. It never seems overly long. It's just really, really well done. EC3, Ethan Carter, the third, you're amazing. You do an amazing job. I cannot believe that WWE was stupid enough to let you go, because you know what? You really rock this. At the end of the segment, they get basically Tyrus brings out Rockstar Spud. He gets knocked around the ring a bit. Jeremy Borash is in there in the middle of the ring, and he gets he slaps EC, trying to keep him away from Rockstar Spud, because Borash is a friend of Spud's, and they grab Borash and they scalp him, they shave his head, which is actually really well done. And so it'd be interesting to see what's going to happen next. Is Borash going to have his head completely shaved and it comes back? It'll be kind of neat. Borash has been there since the very beginning, the very first episode, the very first Impact. He was right there. And he's been a really big guy behind the scenes as well. Next up, we have the X Division title match coming on. It's Low Ki versus Austin Aries. X Division, if you know that, this is what made Impact what it is. It's just really fast, really frenetic matches. And at one point, it went almost a little bit too fast. The selling wasn't as good. Like ROH right now, if you watch ROH, it's okay, but you don't. And I got to agree with Jim Ross when he says this a lot of times. They go so fast sometimes trying to get things done and trying to get so many big moves in there that they don't take time to sell the moves that are given to them. And it really makes each of the wrestlers, it doesn't help any wrestler. So this is a really fast, frenetically fast-paced match between Low Ki and Austin Aries. But the selling is great, and it's done really well. We get a win from Austin Aries, which was a shocker for me. We both expected Low Ki to get this one. He was doing amazing in this one. But Aries got the title win. So your new X Division champion, Austin Aries. Great match. Next up is a women's title women's title battle royal. So Taryn Terrell is a women's champion. So she's going in against, like, we got Havoc in there, we got all the beautiful people in there. We have oh man, there's so many people in this match. We have Gail Kim in this one. Oh, who else? No, we don't. But Robbie E. Who? Oh, the Queen Bee. Oh, that's Terrell.
She was with the beautiful people.
Oh, you mean Madison Rain? Yeah, Madison Rain's in this one.
Havoc.
Havoc. Oh, Havoc's a huge monster. Havoc was one that they got to replace, basically, to come in and be the next Awesome Khan. And Havoc's done a great job. Now, before the match even gets underway, we get the bromance guys coming out. Zema Ion comes out, and they talk about Robbie E coming back from Amazing Race. So Robbie E comes out. Robbie E and Brooke were a couple in real life, and they broke up in real life. They did a show called Amazing Race, a really popular reality show. I don't watch reality shows, so I have no idea how they did or whatnot. So, but apparently they were in that, and Robbie basically trashes Brooke, and Brooke comes down. Well, first Tyrell comes down and interrupts his promo. I think his promo was going long, so they kind of cut it short. So the battle royale starts. There's people going out all over the place. It's a great match, actually. The TNA Impact Wrestling women's division is actually a really good division. They've got a really wide variety of wrestlers. They're not all like divish wrestlers here. We have some really awesome wrestlers. Havoc is a huge, like, powerhouse of a woman. We've got people like Gail Kim, who is just such an amazing, technically proficient wrestler that amazes me every time that I watch her in, like, when she really gets to let go in matches. And we got the beautiful people who are are gorgeous and they can wrestle. So this is a really good battle royal, and it goes to the final three is Terrell, is Havoc. Terrell's a very, very good looking woman, and Gail Kim. At the end of it, basically, Terrell knocks both Havoc and Gail Kim out in one foul swoop, and it's a really cool ending to the match. But Havoc goes nuts, gets back in the ring, starts beating the crap out of Terrell, just like power bombing her and like bear hugging her like crazy. The lights go out, and they're going out for a few seconds. Then all of a sudden, the lights are back on. Havoc's in the ring, face to face, nose to nose, almost with Havoc. Awesome Kong has returned. Yes, if you only watch WWE, then you probably know her as the character Karma, where she was, got to do some stuff, but got kind of wasted. And Karma, or Awesome Kong as she's known right now, had some sad, had some tragedies in her life outside of the ring. She left Impact Wrestling originally because she didn't agree with what Hogan was doing there at the time. He brought in this guy named Boa the Love Sponge, who was a complete creep, and she beat the crap out of him and left the show. In legit, she literally did beat the crap out of him and leave the show. She went to WWE, where it looked like she was going to be having a great career. She was Karma. She got pregnant, and unfortunately, she had a miscarriage, and basically that affected her. Really, and she wanted to take time off, and basically WWE let her go after that, which was not a good move. She always talked about going back to WWE, but at the end of the day, she's home where she started, where she belongs. No, not in Shimmer, in Impact Wrestling, and she does a great job. She really sells her comeback really well. She choke slams the ref, and man, is it an awesome choke slam! Awesome Kong, so awesome to see you back. That choke slam looked brutal. It looked like when she choke slams him, it looks like she pretty much folds him in half. He just bounces off the ring. Now we're down to the final match, the last one, the marquee match of the show. Roode versus Lashley. There's been 2 other Roode versus Lashley matches. You know what? They've been really, really great matches. So the hype for this one pretty high. We see in the background earlier on in one of the backstage segments, Lashley kind of told MVP, who he's part of a group of at one point, to he's there to get the title belt. He doesn't care about any of this group's crap anymore, and stay out of his way. So we know something's going to come into that later on in the show. And it does. We get a really good high-impact match. And this is a really great wrestling match. There's some awesome moves going on between Lashley and Roode. Both are accomplished wrestlers. Roode is just the amazing wrestler that he is one of the faces of wrestling right now. He's just so, so good. And the fact that WWE never snapped them up, or ROH didn't try and snap them up, is just short-sighted on their part, because he's probably one of the best things that they have going right now. And he has that look. He's just the perfect all-around package. And I was really surprised to see how much Bobby Lashley has improved over the last few years. He has gotten really, really good. Lashley is a monster of a man, but not only that, Lashley can actually really, really pull it off. He really wrestles well. And he didn't always have that charisma that was there that he has now, and he's got the full package now. Lashley really is it at this point. He wasn't when he started out, but he really is now. And the match goes great until we get MVP and Kenny King come down with 2 masked men. So they're in there to they knock out the referee. They go in. They're gonna beat the crap out of Bobby Roode. Well, at first it looks like they're gonna go for Lashley. Then they go towards Bobby Roode, and Kurt Angle comes out. They beat the crap out of Kurt Angle, and all of a sudden, Eric Young runs in. We haven't seen him in a while. Eric Young's had his own show, of course, on the he's got his own fishing show on that. Any kind of nature show that he does. Not fishing, nature show. And hunting, whatever. I don't watch that show, but it's apparently really good. Eric Young is Bobby Roode's best friend, so he runs in, he's got the chair, and he clears off that entirety of MVP's group. And the other 2 masked ones, by the way, Samoa Joe and Loki. So what's a real big shock we got? Samoa Joe was a real big face of that earlier on when I was watching before. And Loki was just, did his own thing as part of this new group. And it's going to be cool to see where this group goes and exactly what they want. We also get so basically he clears of the ring. He gets rid of every one of them. They kind of take tail and run to the back. He goes around with the chair for a little bit and just turns around, and he plants it right into the stomach of his best friend, Bobby Roode. And Eric Young turns heel, shocking everybody, because Eric Young, as the heel against Bobby Roode, Eric Young has been with Bobby Roode since the beginning. When Roode originally came into to Impact Wrestling, what was originally called TNA, and Eric Young was in it. There was a group called Team Canada, that was ran by Scotty D'Amore, and just a really, really great, solid group of wrestlers. And they were the heels. They were kind of the bad guys. Us Canadians were evil guys. Happens a lot, actually, in wrestling. But the Mountie, all those guys. So to see Eric Young turning on Bobby Roode, there were times when they were both heels, but they were usually heels around the same time. So this was kind of a really cool heel turn. It went really well. It had a big shocker. The biggest shock, obviously, was Awesome Kong coming back. Nobody expected that one to happen, I don't think. And Eric Young's heel turn went really well. Lashley wins the belt, by the way. After that, he gets the referee back in. And overall, how did I find it? It was an incredible. This is the way wrestling should be done. I try and watch Raw. It's like a 3-hour show. Sometimes there's some awesome stuff that goes on there. I really think Dolph Ziggler is a great thing for Raw, but overall it's really, really weak when it comes to a lot of the wrestling stuff. Impact seemed to get, and I hope this stays this way. They had the perfect amount of segments along with the wrestling. And when the wrestling was done in the ring, the wrestling was really, really good. That's the thing. They have the wrestlers. Impact has the roster. They have always had an incredible roster of wrestlers. And, man, they for their first episode, man, I'm hooked. I want to watch the next one. So, I wish it was there right now to watch. Just some incredible stuff. I can't wait to hear more on that new group. I do like the group stuff. People think the group stuff is overdone, but I think there should be always like one or two cool groups that are in like heel groups that are in a wrestling company. There's always some in each one, but this one looks really well. MVP is great on the mic. I can't wait to see more of EC3. Just an incredible wrestler. Overall, love this episode. I definitely suggest you check it out. If you're in the United States, you get Destination America. Go check out Impact Wrestling. It comes on Friday nights, every Friday night, and I'm definitely gonna be watching however I can, whether it's on YouTube or, well, however I can get it. It's just a great show, great start, fantastic way to go, way above Raw over the last month and a half. So let's hope they stay like this. This is Impact Wrestling, the way I want to see them, with a lot of focus on the wrestling, a bit of focus on the backstage stuff. Some really decent commentating. I'd say Taz is getting better, and he still kind of does these Tazisms, which kind of makes him entertaining. Josh Matthews did a great job first start out, and well, I'm going to see how Josh goes from here on. But I can't say that I had no problem with Josh Matthews at all. Solid show all around. I can't wait to see what the Impact Unlocked is. They are going some kind of new cool directions, and it's going to be interesting to see where it goes. So right now, I am thirsty. I got to get some tea. I've been talking for 22 minutes long. Hope you guys enjoy this review. It has been impactful for me and the giant lobster head up there. My better half also watched the show, so I'm going to take 1 second to ask her what she thought of it. Hind, what do you think of the show?
It was like the old days.
Is that good or bad?
No, it was good. Well, you know me, I'm wrestling.
I'm not sure if she liked it or not. She's not actually giving me like a...
No, it was good.
It was like when we originally watched it, or...
Yeah.
Yeah, it basically... She thought it was back to when she started watching...
It was classic storylines, and, you know, they did things by the book, which is what works, really.
More what makes TNA good, as opposed to what they did when Hogan came in and just tried to copy WWE, which was really dumb. Impact had its own persona that was very different from the WWE, and you know what, that was a good thing. They tried to copy the WWE, didn't work. That's not them, and thank God they're going back to being a wrestling company again, and a good wrestling company. So
the ring is back.
Oh, the ring! Oh yeah, the ring came back a while back, but it's nice to see like a nice big. We love the six-sided ring. We just are big fans of it. Yeah, it's TNA being TNA again, and it's so good to see them back because they had a solid show before. They lost it for a bit, but it's back now.
I think Dixie Carter should stay out of it.
Well, she's still doing it behind the scenes.
No, but she can own the thing, but she, you know, like the promos, maybe not.
Yeah, well, Dixie Carter's a nice woman, but yeah, she does a better job. Like, she's a businesswoman. And people like always rag on Dixie, but well, this is a woman in a man's, profession. Screw that like chauvinistic bullshit.
Because she wasn't there, there would be no TNA.
Exactly. Dixie Carter does a great job behind the scenes. Do I like her in storylines? I think Dixie Carter's a beautiful woman. I really do. I think she's very attractive. And to be shown on wrestling, not in a big thing. I don't want her to be like the main heel manager or anything like that. But on there once in a while, it's not a bad thing. But as for coming on and like dominating stuff like that, no, really, please don't do that again. We see enough of that in WWE with the whole authority stuff.
Yeah, that was boring.
Oh, the authority's back again, honey. Yeah, I know. So thanks for watching, guys. For me right now, it really is time for tea and a snack because I'm actually kind of hungry. Have a great night, guys. I'm thinking of making one more video tonight. Not sure if I'm going to, but we'll see how it goes. Have a good one. And watch Impact Wrestling. It's It's actually pretty damn good.